Our client has MS, which has deteriorated the strength and dexterity in his fingers. Therefore, he struggles to press his emergency call button. This is a huge safety issue for him, so our goal was to create an attachment to his button that he is able to use himself so the button gets pressed in an emergency. This attachment must be less than 125 grams, easy to use, and not alter the button in any way, shape, or form.
In order to choose a design from our 3 initial ideas, we created a design matrix in which we evaluated them based on 8 categories, with effectiveness and ease of use being weighted the heaviest, while cost and aesthetics were weighted the least. After doing so, the clear winner was the spring design.
The spring design contains a loaded compression spring placed inside of a cylindrical casing. The casing is threaded at the top, allowing a threaded cap to screw down the spring. As the cap is screwed in, the spring is compressed on top of the nub, the object that physically pushes down the button. The spring design contains a safety pin, and as it is pulled, the spring decompresses, pushing the nub down on top of the button, activating the emergency response system. The device can be reset by putting the nub back in, putting the safety pin through it, and screwing the cap back on.
After obtaining a red permit for the team lab, the Makerspace staff were able to assist us in 3D printing our various prototypes. The designs were made using SolidWorks, a computer-aided design program, and the files for our parts were converted to STL files before being ready to print. Because threads needed to be printed on the device, Formlab's Form 2 printers were the printers of choice. We used the durable material and several different printers throughout the whole prototyping process, all of which worked the same. To print, all we had to do was open up a program called Preform, load in the correct STL files, and fill out a survey that the Makerspace provided us with for each print. There is a reservoir of resin in the printer, and the printing surface dips from above into the resin. Once in the resin, a UV laser shines on the printing platform, which hardens the resin in those specific locations. This adds up layer by layer to the point, in our case, where there are over 700 layers. After the printer finishes, the print is removed and placed out to dry before being cured for another several hours. This was all done by the Makerspace staff, and we just had to go to the checkout counter to pick up the print.
The first prototype was created to get a basic idea of how the 3D printing process worked. The issues with this design was that the zip tie holes did not print all the way through, and there was no lid created yet. For the second prototype, the zip tie holes still did not print through. There were many other minor problems, such as the pin being hard to line up and pull out. The lid needed to be adjusted so that it was easier to twist off.
It was not until the third prototype that the group encountered a problem with the plastic being too weak. After screwing in the lid, the plastic snapped and made the body of the mechanism impossible to use in the future. In addition, after acquiring the button, the base was fixed to be able to fit into the recess of the button. The button was found able to hit the button and press it, but the problem with the plastic breaking made it so there are 2 weak spots that would have to be fixed in SolidWorks.
After trying to fix the base of the third prototype, the fourth prototype proved to be too large and the base had to be sanded down so it fit within the recess of the button. The other problem with prototype number 4 was how there was only one zip tie recess, which it caused it to lean one way and would not work. In order to fix this, a second zip tie recess was created and found on the fifth prototype. The only problem with the fifth prototype was that it had 2 weak spots and cracked ultimately.
Although the popularity of emergency service buttons in homes is a great concept, there is a flaw with some users not being able to press the button down. As a result, the team has created a mechanism that is easy to use and can produce enough force to press it for him. This final design deals with an easy-to-use mechanism in which a metal rod is pulled out and a compressed spring is released downward to press the button. The mechanism is not only accurate, but can be used at any time with any person who also cannot press their emergency service button. This could potentially save the lives of many people who don't have enough force to press the button on their own, because in life-threatening situations, they will be able to call for help by using this assistive device.
This is a huge